My daughter said her classmate looks identical to her. The moment I saw her, I knew. Her father was the billionaire CEO. The scissors slipped from my fingers. Metal hits wood, the sound echoing through the art room like a gunshot in a silent cathedral. I watch them fall, time stretching, each millisecond a lifetime as the blades catch the afternoon light streaming through the windows. My hands are trembling. He's standing there, right there, in my doorway, Marcus Chen, the man I buried 11 years ago, the man I swore I'd never see again, the man whose face I've tried to forget in therapy sessions and sleepless nights in the arms of men who could never measure up. And beside him, holding his hand with complete trust, is Ivy, my favorite student, the brilliant 10-year-old girl I've been teaching for 3 months. The child whose artwork moves me to tears, the daughter I never knew belonged to the only man I've ever truly loved. His lips part. I see my name forming there before I hear it. Naomi. Just that, just my name. But the way he says it, God, the way it leaves his mouth like a prayer he's been holding behind his teeth for over a decade, like a confession that's been strangling him, like the last word of a dying man. I can't breathe. Ivy's voice cuts through the moment, sharp and confused and so innocent she has no idea she's standing in the wreckage of two people's past. Miss Jordan, are you okay? I want to answer her. I want to be the teacher she knows, the professional woman who always has the right words, the steady presence in her chaotic world. But my throat has closed. My voice has died somewhere between seeing him and remembering everything we were. Hello, my beautiful kings and queens, my sweethearts and precious gems. If you love powerful second chance stories and inspiring millionaire romance journeys, then you're in the perfect place. Don't forget to like, comment, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new tale. Share this with someone who believes in love's redemption today. Welcome to Untold Desires by Mr. Lewis. His face has gone pale, actually pale, like watching color drain from a photograph left in the sun too long. Because I'm not a memory anymore. I'm not the girl he left behind, the casualty of his ambition, the woman he erased when his life got too complicated. I'm real. I'm here. I'm his daughter's art teacher. You two know each other? Ivy's question hangs in the air between us. Those eyes, his eyes, watching me with the same intensity he used to look at me with when we were young and stupid and thought love was enough. We knew each other, I managed to say, each word carefully controlled, professionally distant. A long time ago. How long? Of course she asks. Of course Ivy, who never lets anything go, who notices everything, who inherited his relentless curiosity along with his honey-colored eyes, would push for details. Another lifetime, Marcus says quietly, and his gaze never leaves mine. When we were different people. The art room suddenly feels like it's shrinking, these walls I decorated with care, these tables I've arranged for optimal creative flow, this space I've built over 3 years of teaching here, my sanctuary, my proof that I survived him, that I built something beautiful from the nothing he left me with. And he just walked into it, bringing our history like luggage he forgot to claim at the airport, dragging the past into my present with no warning, no preparation, no mercy. Ivy, sweetheart, I shift into teacher mode because it's the only mode I can access without falling apart. Why don't you grab your portfolio from the storage closet? I'd love to show your father your tessellation project. She hesitates. Those eyes, God, those impossible eyes that I've loved on her face for months without knowing they were his eyes, watching me like she can see everything I'm trying to hide. It's in the blue bin, she says slowly. Perfect. Take your time. The door clicks shut behind her. The sound is too loud in the sudden silence. And then we're alone for the first time in 11 years, standing 20 feet apart, in a room that smells like tempera paint and glue sticks and the coffee I spilled this morning in my rush to set up. Marcus speaks first. How long have you known? Known what? My hands find the edge of the craft table. I'm gripping it like it's the only thing keeping me upright, like if I let go I'll collapse, like this cheap wooden table is all that stands between me and complete devastation. That I'm Ivy's father, that you've been teaching my daughter. A laugh escapes before I can stop it, sharp, bitter, the sound of something breaking. I found out about 6 seconds before you did, when you walked through that door. His face, God, his face. Relief and devastation, fighting for control, each emotion crossing his features like weather systems colliding. I didn't know you worked here. I swear I had no idea. And I didn't know Ivy's father was you. I straightened, forcing myself to let go of the table, even though I want to hold on forever. Chen is common enough. She never said your first name. I never made the connection. You changed your name. I changed a lot of things. He takes a step forward. I take a step back. He notices, stops moving. Something flickers in his eyes that might be pain or might be understanding or might be both. Naomi, I tried to reach you. Don't. The word comes out sharp enough to cut, sharp enough to draw blood, sharp enough to make him flinch. Don't you dare stand in my art room and rewrite history. I'm not, I swear. After the acquisition deal closed, when I came back, you were gone. I was surviving. There's a difference. The fluorescent lights hum overhead. Outside, I can hear children laughing in the hallway, their voices carrying the kind of innocence neither Marcus nor I have access to anymore. We lost that innocence together in a coffee shop 12 years ago when he promised me forever and I believed him. I looked for you, he says. Not hard enough. The truth sits between us, heavy as a corpse. He looked, maybe. He searched, possibly. But he didn't find me. Because finding me would have required actually trying. Would have required choosing me over the empire he was building. Over the life he was creating. Over the woman he married 8 months after he vanished from mine. You got married, I say. Not a question, a statement. A fact I know because I saw the announcement, I saw the photos. Marcus Chen, tech billionaire, and Catherine Wu, venture capital royalty. Very neat, very appropriate, everything I could never be. He flinches. Actually flinches, like I've struck him. That marriage is over. I don't care. Naomi, I really don't care, Marcus. Your marriage, your divorce, your entire life after you left, none of it concerns me. But you're teaching my daughter. Our professional relationship is about Ivy. Not us. There is no us. There was. Yes. I meet his eyes, hold them, refuse to look away first. There was. 11 years ago. Before you chose everything else. The door opens. Ivy comes back with her portfolio folder, looking between us with that too intelligent gaze that misses nothing. I can see her processing, calculating, trying to understand the tension that's so thick in this room you could cut it, with the scissors still lying on the floor where I dropped them. I got it, she says carefully. I shift instantly, professional, composed, the teacher who has her life completely together. Wonderful. Let's sit down and go through your work. But Marcus and I both know this isn't over. We've stumbled into each other's lives again, and nothing about this collision will be simple. Nothing about this will be clean. We're bleeding all over each other's carefully constructed present, and there's no bandage big enough to stop it. Have you ever had your past show up in your present so violently you couldn't tell which timeline was real? This is that story. About what happens when the man who erased you from his life accidentally discovers you've been shaping his daughter's creative mind for 3 months. About second chances, and whether they're redemption or just repeated mistakes. About a black woman who built excellence from nothing, facing the Asian American billionaire who had everything including her heart once. If you've ever had to smile professionally at someone who shattered you personally, I need you to understand this story. Because I promise you, it goes places you won't expect. Places I didn't expect. Places that will make you question everything you think you know about forgiveness. My name is Naomi Jordan, and this is the story of how my past became my present. How my student's father became my biggest mistake walking back into my life. How I learned that some doors you close can be kicked open by fate, with a sense of humor cruel enough to make you laugh, or cry, or both. Let me take you back to the morning this all exploded, before I knew, before he knew. When we were still separate people living separate lives that were about to collide like planets on a devastating course. I wake up at 6 that Saturday morning in my modest one-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood 40 minutes from the Riverside Community Center. The alarm pulls me from a dream I can't remember, but that leaves me unsettled, anxious, like my subconscious knows something my conscious mind doesn't. The apartment is quiet. Maya, my 10-year-old daughter, still asleep on the daybed in the living room we converted into her space. Her breathing is steady through the thin curtain partition, That sound that's anchored me for over a decade. That rhythm that reminds me why I survived when surviving felt impossible. I move through my morning routine with practiced efficiency, shower, coffee, reviewing lesson plans at the kitchen table that wobbles no matter how many times I try to fix it. The radiator hisses its familiar complaint. The downstairs neighbor's television murmurs through the floor. These are the sounds of a life I built from absolute zero, from the wreckage of loving the wrong man, from the ashes of believing promises that turned to smoke. Maya emerges at 7:15, sleep rumpled and beautiful. She has her father's eyes. Not Marcus, the other one. The man I dated briefly, 3 years after Marcus. The man who also disappeared when things got real. When I told him I was pregnant. When love required more than just showing up on the easy days. Some patterns repeat until you learn to stop them. Morning, Mama. She kisses my cheek, pours cereal with the precision she brings to everything. My daughter. My miracle. My proof that I can build something beautiful even when the world tries to convince me I can't. Morning, baby. You have ballet later, right? At 2. Ivy's class is at 10. Ivy. The name sends a little warmth through my chest. The brilliant little girl who walked into my Saturday art enrichment program 3 months ago, with a portfolio that took my breath away. Geometric precision meets emotional depth. A 10-year-old doing work that rivaled my college students back when I used to teach at the university level, back before budget cuts and politics and being the only black woman in the department, made me realize I'd never get tenure no matter how good my work was. I'm ready for today, Maya says between bites. We're doing perspective drawing. Confidence is good. Overconfidence makes you skip the fundamentals. She grins. That smile that makes every struggle worth it, that makes the double shifts and the cheapest groceries in the apartment that's too small all fade into background noise. I'll be appropriately confident. We move around each other in the small kitchen, a dance perfected over years. She's my anchor, my purpose. My reminder that love doesn't always leave. Sometimes it stays. Sometimes it grows. Sometimes it becomes the best thing you ever created. By 8:30, we're out the door. Maya to her grandmother's until ballet. Me to the Riverside Community Center where I teach art classes on weekends, supplementing my weekday freelance design work, building something that's mine in a world that keeps trying to tell me I don't belong. The community center sits in a neighborhood that's somewhere between gentrification and genuine community investment. Old buildings with new paint. Local businesses next to chain stores. Families who've been here for generations, watching new families move in with their yoga studios and organic markets. I've been teaching here for 3 years. Classes for kids whose parents can't afford private art schools. My contribution, my purpose. My way of giving back to a community that held me when I was broken. I park my aging Toyota, grab my supply bags, walk through doors I've walked through for 3 years. Every week, proving art matters. Every week, making space for kids who look like me, like Maya, kids who need someone to see them, really see them, not just their circumstances or their zip codes or the color of their skin. My classroom is on the 2nd floor, room 203. I decorated it carefully. Diverse artists on every wall. Frida Kahlo next to Jean-Michel Basquiat, next to Yayoi Kusama. Posters that say everyone can create. Even when the world says otherwise. Especially when the world says otherwise. I set up for the day, write the agenda on the whiteboard, arrange materials for our perspective drawing lesson. My students will arrive in 30 minutes. 15 kids from families with modest means and immodest dreams. And they love me, most of them. Because I see them, actually see them, not their limitations, not their struggles, them, their potential, their brilliance, their right to create beauty in a world that keeps trying to tell them they're not worthy of beauty. Ivy Chen is my favorite. I try not to have favorites, but Ivy, she's extraordinary. Brilliant in that specific way that comes from genuine artistic vision combined with technical precision. She understands composition, sees patterns in chaos. Ask questions that make me think harder about my own assumptions. She talks about her father sometimes, Mr. Chen, very busy, trying to be more present. She says it with the diplomacy of a child who's learned not to expect too much, who's learned to protect herself from disappointment by lowering her expectations. It breaks my heart every time. I never knew his first name, never asked, Never thought to make a connection between Ivy Chen and Marcus Chen because why would I? Marcus exists in my past, firmly, completely, buried. I locked that door and threw away the key and built a whole new house far away from those memories. Students arrive. The day begins. Kids with their energy and questions and creativity and brilliance. I teach, I encourage, I demonstrate, I redirect. I am Miss Jordan, the teacher they trust, the artist who gets it, the adult who shows up. At 9:45, I have a 15-minute break before the advanced class. I use it to call my mother, check that Maya's okay, confirm pickup times, hear her voice telling me I'm doing good, that I'm enough, that my daughter is thriving because of me. You sound tired, baby, my mother says. Long week, freelance deadline crunches. You work too hard. Work pays the bills, Mama. I know. Just don't let them take your joy. Never. I promised her that years ago when I came home broken from Marcus, when I spent 3 months on her couch crying myself to sleep, when I thought I'd never be whole again. I promised her I wouldn't let the world make me small. I'd find my joy again. I'd build it if I had to. I have to go. Advanced class in 10 minutes. Love you, Naomi. Love you, Mama. I hang up, check my roster. 10 students in the advanced Saturday class, including Ivy Chen. Father attending today for parent observation. Mr. Chen. I've been looking forward to this. Ivy is easy to talk about, a teacher's dream. I prepared notes about her exceptional spatial reasoning, her innovative use of color theory, her ability to mentor younger students, her genuine kindness that makes her not just talented but good. I straighten the art room, smooth my paint-stained smock, the one I made myself, professional despite the chaos. Armor, I wear it well. At 9:58, I hear footsteps in the hallway. I look up, smile ready, professional mask in place, ready to meet another parent, ready to discuss their exceptional daughter. The door opens, and my entire world tilts sideways. Because walking through that door, holding Ivy's hand, looking every inch the billionaire success story in designer casual clothes that probably cost more than my monthly rent, is Marcus Chen. Older, more polished, but unmistakably him. The man I loved, the man who destroyed me, the man I spent 11 years trying to forget. Our eyes meet. Time stops. Every breath I've taken since he left suddenly feels stolen. Every moment I've lived without him suddenly feels like borrowed time. Every wall I've built comes crashing down in the space between one heartbeat and the next. This is where everything changes. This is where the past stops being the past. This is where I learned that some loves don't stay buried no matter how deep you dig the grave. But to understand how he got here, standing in my art room with our shared history bleeding between us, you need to understand who Marcus Chen was that morning. Before he knew, before his past became his present, before he walked into a classroom and found the woman he'd been trying to forget for 11 years teaching his daughter. Marcus Chen wakes up at 5:30 that Saturday morning in his penthouse apartment overlooking the bay, 38th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows, a view that cost $12 million. Space he barely notices anymore because what's a view when you're lonely? What's luxury when you're empty? He lies in bed longer than he should, staring at the ceiling, thinking about the therapy session he had yesterday. Dr. Patricia Santos, pushing him to explore his patterns, his workaholism, his tendency to choose achievement over connection, his inability to be vulnerable even when vulnerability might save him. You've built an empire around innovation, Dr. Santos had said, but you're terrified of actual intimacy. She wasn't wrong. She was never wrong. That's why he paid her $500 an hour to excavate his emotional wreckage, to hold up mirrors he'd been avoiding his whole life, to make him face the truth that success without connection is just expensive loneliness. He forces himself up, shower, coffee, the routine of a man who structured his life to avoid spontaneity, because spontaneity leads to feeling, and feeling leads to pain, and pain is the one thing his money can't fix. Ivy is still asleep in her room, the bedroom they decorated together after the divorce, when it was just the two of them, when he'd had to learn how to be an actual father instead of the distant figure who sent gifts and missed recitals, and showed up for the highlight reel but never the daily grind. He makes breakfast, scrambled eggs, fruit, toast. Cooking has become his meditation, the one thing that requires presence, attention, care. Things he failed at for years, but is desperately trying to learn. Ivy emerges at 7, still sleepy but smiling. That smile she gives him sometimes. The one that says maybe he's earning his way back into her trust. Maybe she's starting to believe he won't disappear into his work again. Maybe they can be a real family, even if it's just the two of them. "Morning, Dad." "Morning, sweetheart. Eggs?" "Please." They eat together, quiet, comfortable. She tells him about her week. About the project she's working on for Miss Jordan. About the book Miss Jordan recommended. About how Miss Jordan understands things other teachers don't. How she makes art feel like possibility instead of performance. Miss Jordan. Ivy talks about her constantly. Her favorite teacher. The one who actually listens. Who sees her. Who makes the community center class feel safer than her expensive private school ever has. "I'm coming to your class today," Marcus says, "meeting your teacher, the parent observation thing." Ivy lights up. Her whole face transforms. "Really? You're actually coming?" The question hurts. The implication that he usually doesn't. Which is fair. For years he didn't. Work always took priority. Meetings, deals. Building an empire while missing his daughter's childhood. Trading presents for profit until Catherine left him, and he realized he'd prioritized everything except what mattered. "I'm coming. I want to meet this teacher you love so much." "You'll love her too, everyone does. Well, except some of the other parents. They think she's too, different." "What do you think?" "I think she's the best teacher I've ever had." That settles it. Anyone who can reach his brilliant, guarded daughter deserves his attention, his respect, his time. They finish breakfast. Ivy gets ready, choosing her outfit with care. She wants to look good for class, wants to make a good impression. Marcus dresses casually. Jeans, button down, the closest he comes to relaxed. His driver is available, but Marcus made a promise to himself. Weekends he drives Ivy himself, is present for small moments, car rides. Conversations about nothing that mean everything, the tiny threads that weave a relationship when you've spent years unraveling it. They drive through morning traffic, Ivy on her tablet, sketching with her stylus, living the life of a 10-year-old with unlimited creative tools and access to technology that simultaneously terrifies and delights him. "You're quiet today," he observes. She looks up from her screen. "Just thinking about Miss Jordan meeting you. I want you to like her." "I'm sure I will." She's different from other teachers. She actually gets it. Gets what? That we're people, not just students, not just our parents, kids. People. Marcus's throat tightens. When did his daughter become so wise? When did she learn to articulate things he's still struggling to understand in therapy? She sounds special. She is. They arrive at Riverside Community Center at 9:50, early. Marcus signs the visitor log, noting the modest facility, the dedicated staff, the genuine mission. This isn't some vanity project. This is real community work. This is where people show up because they care, not because it looks good on a tax return. He walks Ivy to room 203, stops outside, lets her go in first. "Miss Jordan," Ivy calls out, her voice bright with excitement, "my dad's here." Marcus follows her through the door. He's looking at his phone, checking one last email, still half in work mode even though he promised himself he'd be present. And then he looks up and sees Naomi. Naomi Brooks, the woman he loved at 24, the woman he left in a coffee shop with promises he didn't keep, the woman he tried to find when his deal closed and couldn't, the woman who's haunted him for 11 years in the spaces between his achievements, in the moments when success feels hollow, in his failed marriage to a woman he chose because she fit his world instead of his heart. Naomi, here, in front of him. Older, more beautiful, looking at him with recognition and devastation and something like controlled fury that makes his chest feel like it's caving in. Time fractures. Her scissors fall, he forgets how to breathe. The world narrows to just this moment, this room, this impossible collision of past and present. Ivy looks between them, confused. This is the moment, the collision. The past and present meeting with enough force to shatter everything both of them have carefully built. Miss Jordan, Ivy's voice, comes from somewhere far away. Are you okay? Naomi's face, God, 11 years have refined her beauty, sharpened it into something that cuts him just by existing. She wears professionalism like armor, but he can see beneath it, can see the girl he loved, can see the woman she became without him. Naomi. Her name escapes before he can stop it, before he can think, before he can do anything except stand there bleeding from wounds he thought had scarred over. Her eyes, those dark eyes he's dreamed about, they meet his with recognition that feels like accusation. Mr. Chen. Her voice, steady, professional, destroying him with its careful control. This is unexpected. Ivy is looking between them, processing, those brilliant eyes missing nothing. You two know each other? We knew each other, Naomi says, each word precise, careful, wrapped in razor wire. A long time ago. A long time ago. Like it was ancient history. Like it didn't matter. Like those 3 years they spent building a future together hadn't been the realest thing in his life, before or since. How long? Of course, she asks. Of course Ivy, who inherited his relentless curiosity along with his eyes, would push for details. Another lifetime, Marcus manages, when we were different people. Naomi's jaw tightens. He said the wrong thing already. 30 seconds in and he's failing. Ivy, sweetheart, Naomi says, shifting into teacher mode. Why don't you grab your portfolio from the storage closet? I'd love to show your father your work. Ivy hesitates, reading the room the way she reads everything. It's in the blue bin. Perfect. Take your time. Ivy leaves, slowly, reluctantly. The door clicks shut behind her. Silence. 11 years of silence compressed into this moment, this room, this impossible collision of everything Marcus has been running from. Naomi moves first, standing, putting the craft table between them like a barrier. Like distance will protect her from whatever this is. How long have you known? Marcus asks. Known what? Her hands grip the table edge. He can see them trembling even as she tries to hide it. That I'm Ivy's father, that you've been teaching my daughter. She laughs, sharp, bitter. The sound of something breaking. I found out when you walked through that door. I had no idea. You changed your name. I changed everything. Built a new life, one that didn't include you. That lands hard, true, devastating. I tried to find you. After the acquisition closed, I came back. You were gone. I was surviving. I looked for you. Not hard enough, Marcus. You made a choice. Your company over us. Your future over me. That's all I need to know. It wasn't like that. Then, what was it like? Her voice rises slightly, cracks forming in that professional armor. Because from where I stood, you got everything you wanted. $1 billion exit, marriage to Catherine Wu, empire, success, and I got nothing. You think I got everything? Didn't you? I lost you. The words come out raw, honest, more vulnerable than he's been in years. Everything after that has been trying to fill the hole you left. Stop. She holds up a hand, trembling. I don't need your revised history. I lived through the actual one. The door opens. Ivy, portfolio in hand, eyes moving between them with intelligence that sees too much. I got it, she says carefully. Naomi's transformation is instant. Teacher, professional, warm. Let's sit down and go through your work. They sit. Marcus and Ivy on one side of the table, Naomi on the other. A conference about a child. Except nothing about this is normal. Nothing about this is professional. They're bleeding all over each other and pretending the wounds are closed. Naomi goes through Ivy's work with genuine enthusiasm, highlighting strengths, offering guidance, being the teacher Ivy described, brilliant, insightful, present. Marcus tries to focus, tries to engage. But all he can think is that Naomi is here. After 11 years of wondering, of regretting, of trying to forget, she's here. And she hates him. He deserves it, knows he deserves it. But God, it hurts. The session ends, 15 minutes that feel like hours and seconds simultaneously. Thank you for coming, Mr. Chen, Naomi says formally. Ivy is a pleasure to teach. Thank you for everything you do for her. Their eyes meet. Hold. 1,000 conversations happening in silence. Ivy stands. Come on, Dad. He follows her to the door, stops, turns back. Naomi, we need to talk. Really talk. No, we really don't. Please, there's so much you don't know. And I prefer it that way. But her voice wavers, just slightly. Just enough to give him hope. Just enough to make him think maybe there's still something left worth fighting for. They leave, walk down the hallway. Ivy silent beside him, processing. In the car, she finally speaks. You dated her. Not a question, a statement. Marcus grips the steering wheel. Yes, a long time ago. 11 years. What happened? I was stupid. I left. I thought I was chasing important things. I was wrong. Ivy is quiet for a long moment. She's the one, isn't she? What do you mean? The one you told Dr. Santos about. The relationship you regretted most. He'd forgotten Ivy knew about his therapy, had overheard conversations, was too smart not to piece things together. Yes, he admits, she's the one. Does she hate you? She should. That's not what I asked. He thinks about Naomi's eyes, the pain there, the anger, the carefully controlled fury. I don't know, maybe, probably. But you still love her. It's not a question. Ivy states it like fact, like she's already calculated the variables and reached the only logical conclusion. Yes, Marcus says, because lying to his daughter has never worked. I never stopped. Ivy nods, processing. This is complicated. Very. She's my favorite teacher. I know. And you're my dad. I know that too. So what happens now? Marcus wishes he had an answer, wishes there was a formula, a strategy, a way to solve this equation. But there isn't. There's just Naomi and 11 years of hurt and the impossible task of trying to earn forgiveness he doesn't deserve. I don't know, sweetheart. I honestly don't know. They drive home in silence, both processing, both trying to understand how the universe twisted their lives into this impossible knot. That night after Ivy goes to bed, Marcus sits in his study with a glass of whiskey he doesn't drink and a phone he keeps picking up and setting down. He has Naomi's number, looked it up in the center's directory, could call, could text, could try to bridge 11 years with digital communication. He doesn't. Because what would he say? Sorry I destroyed you, sorry I chose wrong, sorry I married someone else while you were doing what? Living, surviving, building a life without him. He pulls up his laptop, searches Naomi Jordan, finds surprisingly little, no social media he can access, a professional bio on the community center's website. Before that, she worked as a freelance designer. Before that, nothing public. Naomi Brooks disappeared. Naomi Jordan emerged. A new name, a new life, a deliberate erasure of the past. He did the same in different ways, buried himself in work, in achievement, in a marriage to a woman whose name opened doors, but whose presence never filled the Naomi-shaped hole in his chest. His phone buzzes, Dr. Santos. He texted her after the class, emergency session request. Her message is brief, tomorrow 9 a.m. my office. He confirms, pours the whiskey down the sink, goes to bed, lies awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about Naomi's face, her controlled fury, her professionalism that's really just protection. He hurt her, badly. Completely. And now they're stuck in each other's lives because Ivy loves her. Sleep comes, eventually, restless, filled with dreams of coffee shops and promises, and a girl with dark eyes who believed him when he said forever. He wakes at 6, goes through his routine, mechanical, distracted, makes breakfast for Ivy who's quieter than usual. You okay? He asks. Thinking about Miss Jordan, and you, and how weird yesterday was. Yeah. It was weird. Are you going to try to fix it? I don't know if I can. But you're going to try? He looks at his daughter, 10 years old, wise beyond her years, watching him with hope and skepticism in equal measure. Yes, he says. I'm going to try. Good. She returns to her cereal. She deserves an apology, at least. She deserves more than that. Then give her more. Simple, the way children make complicated things simple. Just give her more. As if he has anything she wants. As if sorry could bridge 11 years. As if he deserves a second chance when he wasted the first one so spectacularly. But he'll try. Because Ivy's right, Naomi deserves more. Deserves everything. Deserves the man he promised to be and failed to become. Dr. Santos's office is downtown, understated, professional. The opposite of the showy success, his own office projects. He sits in the familiar chair across from the woman who's been excavating his emotional wreckage for 18 months. Tell me what happened, she says. He tells her, all of it. The art class, the recognition, Naomi's fury, Ivy's observations, the impossible complication of it all. Dr. Santos listens, makes notes, waits until he finishes. How do you feel? Terrified, hopeful, guilty, all of it. What are you afraid of? That she'll never forgive me, that I've destroyed any chance we had, that I'll hurt her again just by existing in her space. What are you hoping for? He hesitates. A chance to explain, to apologize, to maybe, I don't know, see if there's anything left after 11 years. I know it's impossible. I didn't say that. I asked what you're hoping for. A second chance. Which I don't deserve. Deservingness is a construct, Marcus. What matters is whether you've changed, whether you're capable of being what she needs now, not what you promised then. I don't know if I am. Then figure it out, because showing up with apologies and hope isn't enough. You need to show her through action that you're different, that you've learned, that you won't repeat the same patterns. And if she doesn't want to see that, then you respect her boundaries. Let her be. Don't make your healing dependent on her forgiveness. He sits with that. The hard truth that Naomi doesn't owe him anything. Not forgiveness, not a second chance, not even acknowledgement beyond professional courtesy. I still love her, he says quietly. I know. Is that enough? It's a starting point, not a destination. He leaves the session with more questions than answers, drives to his office, tries to work, fails. His mind keeps circling back to Naomi, to room 203, to the way she looked at him, with 11 years of hurt in her eyes. His phone rings. Riverside Community Center on the caller ID. His heart jumps. Marcus Chen. Mr. Chen, this is Director Patterson. We need to discuss a situation involving Ivy and another student. Can you come in this afternoon? His stomach drops. What happened? There was an incident during free time. Ivy was defending another student against some unkind comments. It escalated. We'd like to meet with you and the other student's parent. 2 o'clock. I'll be there. He hangs up, calls his assistant, cancels his afternoon. Drives to the center with his mind racing. Ivy in trouble. Ivy who follows rules, who avoids conflict. What happened? He arrives early, is directed to Director Patterson's office, waits in the reception area. At 1:58 the door opens, and Naomi walks in. She sees him, stops. What are you doing here? Ivy was involved in an incident. You? Same. My daughter Maya. Wait, Maya is your daughter? Yes. She's in the general class on Saturdays. The pieces click. Ivy mentioned Maya. They'd become friends. Of course they had. Of course the universe would twist the knife just a little more. They stand in awkward silence, both waiting, both processing this new complication. Their daughters are friends. Mr. Chen, Miss Jordan. Director Patterson appears, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and an expression that suggests she's seen everything. Thank you for coming, please. They follow her into the office, sit in chairs positioned side by side, close enough that Marcus can smell Naomi's perfume. Something subtle, earthy, different from what she used to wear, but somehow still her. Let me explain the situation, Director Patterson begins. During free time today, there was an altercation between Ivy Maya and another student, Brandon Miller. Another parent is already in the office. A man in an expensive suit looking irritated. My son says these 2 girls ganged up on him unprovoked. That's not what happened. The voice comes from the doorway. Everyone turns. Ivy and Maya stand there holding hands, united. Girls, Director Patterson says, I asked you to wait outside. We need to tell the truth, Ivy says firmly. Brandon said Miss Jordan only teaches here because the center needed diversity, Maya adds, her voice shaking but determined, that she's not a real artist, that she only has her job because she's black. The room goes silent. Naomi's face. Marcus sees the flash of pain before she controls it, smooths it into professionalism. That's ridiculous, Brandon's father sputters. Brandon wouldn't say that. He did, Ivy says. And when Maya told him he was wrong, that Miss Jordan is the best artist and teacher here, he said her mom is only here to fill a quota. And when I said that was racist, Maya continues, he said it's just facts. So I told him his facts were bigoted ignorance, Ivy finishes. And he pushed Maya. So I pushed him back. And here we are. Marcus feels rage building, white hot, protective. His daughter defending the woman he loves against racist garbage from a kid whose father clearly shares his views. This is absurd, Brandon's father says. You're going to believe these girls over my son? I'm going to investigate thoroughly, Director Patterson says carefully. But Mr. Miller, if your son did make those comments, my son is entitled to his opinions. Racist opinions aren't entitlements, Naomi says quietly. They're violence. Now wait just a minute. No. Naomi stands, calm, powerful, devastating. Your son told my daughter that I'm only here because of my skin color, not my credentials, not my MFA degree, not my 10 years of professional experience, not the curriculum I developed that's being used in 3 other centers. My skin color, and you're defending that? Brandon's father stands too. I'm defending my son's right to speak freely. Then I'm exercising my right to call it what it is, racism. Teach your son better, Mr. Miller, or the world will teach him harder lessons than my daughter did. She gathers her purse, looks at Maya. Come on, baby. We're done here. They leave, Naomi and Maya walking out with dignity. Marcus recognizes it. The same dignity she had 11 years ago when the world tried to make her small and she refused. Miss Jordan, Director Patterson starts, but Naomi is gone. Marcus stands, looks at Brandon's father with contempt he doesn't bother hiding. Teach your son better. He repeats Naomi's words. Then looks at Director Patterson. I assume the girls aren't being punished for defending truth? Mr. Chen. Because if they are, you'll have a problem. A well-funded, very public problem. Am I clear? He doesn't wait for an answer, takes Ivy's hand, leaves the office, leaves Brandon's father sputtering, leaves Director Patterson looking uncomfortable. In the hallway, he sees Naomi and Maya ahead, walking fast. Naomi's shoulders tight with controlled anger. Naomi, he calls. She stops, turns. What? He catches up, sees her face, the fury, the hurt, the exhaustion of fighting battles she shouldn't have to fight. I'm sorry, for what that man said, for what his son said, for all of it. You don't need to apologize for other people's racism. I know. But I want you to know I saw what you did in there, how you stood up. You were magnificent. Something flickers in her eyes. I've had practice. I know. Maya is watching them. Ivy, too. Both girls silent, observing. This is Maya, Naomi says, my daughter. Maya, this is Mr. Chen, Ivy's father. We've met. You're the one who hurt my mom, Maya says coolly. Marcus blinks, looks at Naomi. You told her? She's smart. She figured it out. And you're the billionaire trying to get back in her life, Maya continues. She doesn't need you. We've been fine without you. Maya, Naomi warns. It's true, Mama. We have been fine. Better than fine. Ivy speaks up. My dad knows he messed up. He's trying to fix it. Some things can't be fixed, Maya shoots back. Some things can, if people really try. The girls stare at each other, 10 years old, having an argument their parents should be having. Girls, Marcus says gently, why don't you two go to the reading corner? Miss Jordan and I need to talk. They look at their mothers for permission. Naomi hesitates, then nods. 15 minutes. Then we leave. The girls leave, still holding hands despite their disagreement, still united despite divided loyalties. Naomi and Marcus stand in the empty hallway, alone again. This is becoming a pattern. Your daughter is fierce, Marcus says. She has to be. I raised her to fight when fighting matters. You raised her well. I know. Not arrogant, just fact. I didn't have a choice. It was raise her well or fail, and I don't fail. I know that too. Silence. Heavy, complicated. Thank you, Naomi says finally. For what? For what you said in there, to Miller. You didn't have to. Yes, I did. What his son said, it's unacceptable. And yet, you're surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm angry. This is my life, Marcus. Every day. Every interaction. Proving I belong. Proving I'm qualified. Proving I'm not just a diversity hire. I didn't understand before. How much you had to fight. No, you didn't. Because you never had to. True. Undeniable. The privilege he moved through the world with. Never questioned. Never examined. Until therapy. Until divorce. Until he started actually looking at himself honestly. I'm learning, he says. Too late. But I'm learning. She studies him, really looks at him. Are you? Or are you performing growth to get what you want? What do I want? Me, obviously. That's why you're here. Why you're being supportive and understanding and all the things you weren't before. You think I'm manipulating you? I think you're a man who built a career around strategy, around reading people, around getting what you want, and I think you're very good at it. Direct hit. She's not wrong. He does know how to influence, how to read people, how to say what they need to hear. I'm not performing, he says quietly. I'm being honest. For maybe the first time in my life, really, truly honest. Prove it. How? Leave me alone. If you really care about me, about what I need, respect that I don't want this. Don't want you in my space, my life, complicating everything I've built. It's a test. He knows it. Say the right thing and maybe she'll believe him. Do the wrong thing and confirm all her suspicions. Okay, he says. She blinks. Okay? Okay. You're right. You've built a life, a beautiful one. I have no right to disrupt it, so I'll stay out of your way. Professional courtesy only. For Ivy's education. Just like that? Just like that. Because you asked. And I respect you enough to listen. She doesn't believe him. He can see it in her eyes. The skepticism, the waiting for the catch, the shoe to drop. Thank you, she says carefully. Can I ask one thing? Her jaw tightens. What? Coffee. One conversation. Let me explain what happened. What really happened. After that, if you never want to see me again, I'll respect it. No. Naomi. I said, no, I don't need your explanations. I lived through your choices. That's all the explanation I need. The girls are coming back. Timing carefully calculated. Giving their parents exactly 15 minutes. Okay, Marcus says. I respect your answer. She looks surprised again, like she expected him to push, to insist, to use his resources to steamroll her boundaries. Come on, Maya, Naomi says. We're going home. They leave, mother and daughter, walking away from him for the second time. The second time he's watched Naomi walk away. The second time he's failed to give her what she needed. Ivy slips her hand into his. You did good, Dad. I lost her again. No, you respected her. That's different than losing. When did his 10-year-old become wise? When did she learn lessons he's still trying to figure out? They drive home, both quiet, both processing. The universe has thrown them together, Naomi and him, their daughter's friends, their lives intersecting. And she wants him gone. He will respect that. We'll stay away. We'll be professional only. We'll give her the space she asked for. Even though it kills him. Even though seeing her again reminded him of everything he lost. Even though he still loves her with the same intensity he had 11 years ago, maybe more, because now he knows what he gave up, now he understands the cost of his choices. That night alone in his penthouse, Marcus makes a decision. He will respect Naomi's boundaries, will stay away, will not push, but he will also be ready if she ever changes her mind. If she ever wants that conversation, that explanation, that chance, he will be ready. Because some loves don't end just because they should. Some loves persist, stubborn, inconvenient, true. And Naomi Brooks now Jordan is that love for him. Had been. Still is. Will always be. Even if she never forgives him. Even if they never speak again beyond professional necessity. Even if this is all he'll ever have. These glimpses. These moments. These impossible collisions. She's the one. The only one. And he'll spend the rest of his life knowing he found her and lost her and found her again only to lose her by his own choices. That's his penance. His punishment is truth. And he will live with it, because that's what love requires sometimes. Letting go, respecting boundaries, putting someone else's needs above your own desires. He's learning. Too late, but learning. Naomi doesn't sleep that night. She lies in bed staring at her ceiling, listening to Maya breathe across the room on the daybed, processing the impossible reality that Marcus Chen walked back into her life. Not just walked, crashed, exploded, detonated like a bomb she buried 11 years ago thinking it was diffused, thinking she'd survived the blast, thinking she was safe. Her phone sits on her nightstand, silent. Part of her expected him to call, to text, to push, despite what she said. That's what the old Marcus would have done. Pushed, insisted, made everything about what he wanted, steamrolled her boundaries with charm and persistence until she gave in. But the phone stays silent, which somehow makes everything worse. Because silence means he's respecting her boundaries. And respecting her boundaries means maybe he has changed. And if he's changed, then what? What does she do with that information? Nothing. She does nothing. Because changed or not, he still destroyed her once. And she rebuilt herself from that destruction into something stronger, something that doesn't need him, something complete. Except seeing him reminded her of things she'd forgotten. The way he looked at her like she was the most fascinating thing in the world. The way he listened, actually listened when she talked. The way his mind worked, fast, brilliant, matching hers in ways no one else ever had. No, she stops that thought. Shuts it down, buries it. She doesn't need those memories, doesn't want them. They're dangerous, seductive, lies wearing nostalgia like perfume. Maya appears at her bedside at 2 a.m. Mama, you awake? Yeah, baby. Can't sleep? You neither, huh? Naomi pats the bed. Maya climbs in, curls against her mother's side. Solid, real. The best thing Naomi ever created. I'm sorry I was rude to Mr. Chen, Maya says quietly. You were protecting me. I love you for that. But Ivy is my friend, and he's her dad. It's complicated. Very. Do you still love him? The question hangs in the dark, honest, direct, the way Maya asks everything. I don't know, Naomi admits. I loved who he was. I don't know who he is now. Ivy says he's different, that he goes to therapy, that he's trying to be better. People can try and still fail. Or they can try and succeed. Naomi looks at her daughter, 10 years old, wise and hopeful in ways Naomi forgot how to be. When did you get so smart? I learned from you. They lie together in the dark, mother and daughter, 2 people who survived everything together, who built a life from nothing, who don't need anyone else. But maybe wanting someone isn't the same as needing them. Maybe letting someone in isn't weakness. Maybe. Naomi shuts down that thought too, holds her daughter, eventually sleeps. Morning comes too early, the alarm brutal. But life doesn't stop for emotional crisis. There's work to do, freelance projects, art classes to plan, excellence to maintain. She gets Maya ready, makes breakfast, normal life, regular life, the life she built that was enough. Except it doesn't feel enough anymore, and that terrifies her. 2 weeks pass. Naomi and Marcus navigate careful distance. He stays away, keeps his word, professional only. She should be relieved. She is relieved. This is what she wanted. Space, boundaries, her life back. So why does it feel like loss? Ivy continues in her Saturday class, bright, creative, asking about perspective and color theory, and whether Ms. Jordan thinks her tessellation project is good enough for the spring showcase. She doesn't mention her father, doesn't push, just exists in Naomi's space with the same quiet intensity she always had. Maya and Ivy remain friends, study sessions at the library, weekend trips to the art museum with Naomi chaperoning, 2 girls bonding over shared interests and complicated family dynamics. Naomi watches them together and sees what could have been, what should have been, if Marcus had chosen differently, if they'd built a life together, if love had been enough. But love wasn't enough. Love is never enough without presence, without choice, without showing up when showing up is hard. She's teaching this to herself, reminding herself, building walls that keep getting kicked down by memories of honey-colored eyes and a smile that used to make her believe in forever. The call comes on a Tuesday afternoon. Naomi is working on a freelance logo design, Maya at her grandmother's, coffee going cold on the desk beside her. Her phone buzzes. Marcus's number. She stares at it. 4 rings. 5. She should let it go to voicemail, should maintain boundaries, should protect herself. She answers. Hello? Naomi, it's Marcus. His voice is strained, stressed, wrong. I'm sorry to call. I know you said professional only, but Ivy is sick, really sick. High fever. We're at Memorial Hospital. Her stomach drops. The world tilts. What happened? She collapsed this morning. Fever of 103. They're running tests. I don't know what to do. She hears it in his voice. The terror, the helplessness, the fear every parent feels when their child is sick and they can't fix it. When all the money in the world means nothing because you can't buy health, can't buy safety, can't buy your child being okay. What hospital? Memorial. But you don't have to. I'm coming. She hangs up, grabs her keys, texts her mother that she'll be late, drives to Memorial with her heart in her throat and Ivy's face in her mind. Bright, creative, asking about color theory. Her favorite student, the child who brought Marcus back into her life, and maybe that was for a reason. She finds Marcus in the pediatric ward waiting room, disheveled, tie loose, hair a mess, looking more human than she's ever seen him, more real, more broken. Any news, she asks. He looks up, relief and surprise crossing his face in equal measure. You came. Of course I came. She's my student. I care about her. The words sound hollow even as she says them, because it's more than that. She cares about Ivy, yes. But she came for Marcus too, because he called, because he needed her. Because some instincts don't die no matter how hard you try to kill them. They're running tests, Marcus says. Possible flu, possible bacterial infection. They don't know yet. Naomi sits beside him, not touching, but present, close enough that their shoulders almost brush. Close enough that she can feel his fear like static electricity. She's strong. She'll be okay. You don't know that. No, but I choose to believe it anyway. They sit in silence, waiting, the worst part of hospitals, the helpless waiting. The fluorescent lights and antiseptic smell and other people's grief bleeding through the walls. Thank you for coming, Marcus says quietly. You didn't have to. Yes, I did. Ivy matters to me. I know. She talks about you constantly. You're her favorite person. She's pretty great herself. More silence. Comfortable somehow. United in worry and love for the same child, even if they can't be united in anything else. I'm sorry, Marcus says, for everything. For 11 years ago. For disrupting your life now. For all of it. Marcus, let me say this, please. He turns to face her, those eyes. God, those eyes. That she's tried so hard to forget. I was 24 and stupid and terrified. The acquisition was happening so fast. My investors were controlling everything. They told me to focus, to eliminate distractions. And I listened. I let them manage my communications. I didn't fight for you. I chose wrong. And I've regretted it every single day since. Naomi feels tears prickling, fights him back. You got married. To someone my investors chose. Someone who fit the image. Catherine is wonderful. But she wasn't you. I spent 8 years in a marriage trying to feel what I should feel. Failing, hurting her by failing. She finally left me for someone who could actually love her. And now? Now I'm in therapy, learning that I use achievement to avoid feeling, that I'm terrified of vulnerability, that I've spent my whole life building walls and calling it success. Why are you telling me this? Because you asked for honesty. This is honest. I'm not fixed, Naomi. I'm not perfect. But I'm different than I was. And if you give me a chance, even just to talk, to explain, I'll show you. A doctor appears before Naomi can respond. Young, efficient, tired. Mr. Chan? Marcus stands. Yes? Ivy has a bacterial infection. We've started antibiotics. She should respond within 24 hours. Can I see her? Of course. She's been asking for you. And for Miss Jordan. Naomi stands. That's me. She's been asking for you too. Room 412. They follow the doctor. Down sterile hallways. Past other families in crisis. Past other parents holding on by threads. To room 412, where Ivy lies in a hospital bed looking small and pale but awake. She smiles weakly when they enter. Miss Jordan, you came. Of course, sweetheart. Dad said you were busy. Never too busy for you. Ivy looks between them. Even sick, she's observant, those eyes missing nothing. You came together? Your dad called me, Naomi says carefully. We both wanted to be here. Together? Yes. A small smile, satisfied, like she's accomplished something. Good. They stay, both of them. Marcus on one side of the bed, Naomi on the other, talking to Ivy, keeping her company, united in caring for this child they both love. Hours pass. Ivy sleeps. Marcus and Naomi sit in chairs, exhausted, worried, together. She's matchmaking, Naomi says quietly. Definitely. We should shut it down. Probably. But neither of them moves. Neither of them leaves. They stay through the evening, through visiting hours, through the night. At some point, Naomi falls asleep in the uncomfortable chair. Wakes to find Marcus's jacket draped over her shoulders, him asleep in his own chair. Ivy sleeping peacefully, fever broken. Morning light filters through the hospital window, soft, forgiving. A nurse comes in, checks Ivy's vitals, smiles. She's doing much better. Should be able to go home this afternoon. Ivy wakes, sees them both there, smiles wider this time. You stayed? Of course we stayed, Marcus says. Both of you? Together? All night? Naomi and Marcus exchange glances. They've been played by a 10-year-old with a bacterial infection. Masterfully played. We're just glad you're okay, Naomi says. I'm glad you're both here. Together. It feels right. After Ivy is discharged, after Marcus takes her home, after Naomi returns to her apartment and collapses on her bed fully clothed, she lies there processing. She spent the night with Marcus in a hospital, caring for his daughter, their daughter in all the ways that matter except biology. And it felt right, natural, like they were a team, like maybe this could work, maybe he has changed, maybe she could trust him, maybe. Her phone buzzes. Marcus, thank you for last night, for being there, for Ivy, for me. I know you didn't have to. It meant everything. She stares at the message, reads it 3 times, analyzing every word, looking for manipulation, for hidden agenda, for the catch. Finds none, just gratitude, just honesty, just a man who's maybe learning. She types, deletes, types again. I'm glad she's okay. And Marcus, maybe we could talk, really talk, that conversation you wanted. I think I'm ready. Her thumb hovers over send. This is it. The choice. The leap. The moment where she decides if forgiveness is possible, or if some wounds cut too deep to heal. She hits send before she can second guess. Immediately regrets it. No, she doesn't regret it. She's terrified but not regretful. His response comes quickly. Yes, whenever you want, wherever you want, thank you. They meet 2 days later, not at a restaurant, not at the center, at the coffee shop where they first met 12 years ago. Different ownership, different decor, different people working behind the counter, but the same space. The same booth where they sat for hours talking about everything and nothing. Where he told her about his dreams of changing technology, where she told him about her dreams of making art that mattered. Where they fell in love over terrible coffee and shared pastries, and the kind of hope only young people have. Naomi arrives first, orders coffee, black, sits in their booth, remembers the girl she was, 23, hopeful, in love with a graduate student who seemed to see her. Really see her, not her skin color, not her background, her. Marcus arrives exactly on time, older, more careful, but with the same intensity in his eyes, the same focus that used to make her feel like the only person in the world. He sits across from her. Thank you for giving me this chance. I'm not promising anything. I know, I'm grateful anyway. They sit in awkward silence, both holding coffee cups, both trying to figure out where to start, how to bridge 11 years with words, how to explain the inexplicable. Tell me what happened, Naomi says finally, after you left. The truth, all of it. So he does. He tells her about the acquisition, the overwhelming pressure, the investors who controlled everything. Julian Ross, who screened his communications, who made decisions about who he saw, who he talked to, who got access. I gave him that power, Marcus says. I was overwhelmed, out of my depth. I'd gone from broke grad student to tech millionaire in 6 months. I didn't know how to handle it, so I let Julian handle it. And he managed me like a product, blocked my calls. Yours, I found out later, years later, during the divorce. Catherine's lawyer was going through everything. Found emails Julian had intercepted, calls he'd screened, including yours. And you never thought to check? To wonder why I wasn't responding? I did. I asked Julian. He said you weren't calling, that you'd moved on. I believed him, because believing you'd moved on was easier than admitting I'd destroyed us. Naomi absorbs this, processing, trying to separate truth from excuse, trying to understand without forgiving too easily. And Catherine? Julian arranged our introduction. Strategic connection. Her family's venture capital empire. My growing company. It made sense on paper. Did you love her? He's quiet for a long moment, staring into his coffee like answers might be hiding there. I tried to. She deserved love. She was smart, accomplished, kind. Everything that should have made me love her. But she wasn't you. The words hang between them, raw, honest, painful. I married her anyway, Marcus continues, because I couldn't have you, because I'd lost you, because I thought maybe I could learn to love her. That love was a choice, not a feeling. And I was wrong. You can't choose love. It's there or it's not. I spent 8 years trying to feel what I should feel. Failing. Hurting her by failing. She knew. Of course she knew. Finally left me for someone who actually loved her. Someone who could give her what I couldn't. What was that? Presence. Emotional availability. Actual connection. All the things I was supposed to be good at in business but couldn't do in life. Naomi takes a sip of coffee. It's better than it used to be. Or maybe her standards have changed. Maybe everything has changed. When did you start therapy? After Catherine left. I was lost. I'd built this empire, this success, this perfect life on paper, and I was miserable, alone. Realizing I'd spent my entire adult life running from vulnerability while building companies around human connection. What did you learn? He smiles sadly. That I'm terrified of intimacy, of being known, that I use achievement to avoid feeling, that I learned from my father to value accomplishment over relationship, that I've been recreating the same pattern my whole life. Build walls, achieve things, keep people at distance, repeat. And you've changed? I'm changing, daily, actively. It's not finished. I don't know if it ever is. But I'm not the man I was, not the boy who left you. I can't promise perfection. But I can promise presence, honesty, actually showing up. Naomi wants to believe him. God, she wants to. But wanting and trusting are different countries, separated by an ocean of hurt. Why now? Why me? You've had 11 years to work on yourself. Why does it matter now? It always mattered. But seeing you again, realizing you've been in my life through Ivy for months and I didn't know, it felt like the universe giving me one more chance. One I definitely don't deserve, but that I'm asking for anyway. I'm scared. Me too. You hurt me, badly, completely. I spent years recovering. I know. And you could do it again. I could. I won't. But I understand why you can't trust that. She looks at him, really looks, searching for the lie, the performance, the manipulation she's convinced must be there. Finds none, just honesty, vulnerability, a man who learned hard lessons and is trying to be better. I don't know if I can do this, she says quietly. I'll take whatever you can give. Friendship. Occasional coffee. Slow rebuilding of trust. I'm not asking for everything, just something. A starting point. What if we try and it doesn't work? Then we tried, and we'll handle it like adults. For Ivy, for Maya, for us. She thinks about the hospital. How natural it felt. How right. How they worked together caring for Ivy. How it could be. Okay. He blinks. Okay? Okay, we can try. Slowly, carefully, with very clear boundaries. What boundaries? We take it slow, no rushing. The girls come first, both of them. You respect my space, my pace. And Marcus, if you hurt me again, if you leave again, if you choose anything over us again, there's no third chance. Understood. Agreed. Completely. And I need you to understand, I'm not the girl you left. I've built a life. A good life. I don't need you to complete me or save me or fix anything. I'm whole. If we do this, it's because I want you, not because I need you. That's... His voice catches. That's exactly what I want, a partnership, not a rescue. They sit, looking at each other. Years of hurt and hope between them. The coffee shop hums around them. Other people's conversations. Other people's ordinary moments. While they sit in the wreckage of their past trying to build something new. This is the moment, the choice, the leap. Naomi extends her hand across the table. Hi, I'm Naomi Jordan. Single mother, artist, teacher, woman who survived everything and built something beautiful from the wreckage. Marcus takes her hand. Smiles, understanding the gesture, the fresh start, the symbolic rebirth. Hi, I'm Marcus Chen, divorced father, recovering workaholic. Man who's learning that success without connection is just expensive loneliness. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. They shake hands. Formal, slightly ridiculous. Perfect. So Naomi says, tell me about yourself. They talk for 3 hours, like they used to. But different, more honest, more real, less performance, more truth. He tells her about therapy, about learning to sit with uncomfortable feelings, about rebuilding his relationship with Ivy, about realizing that billionaire status didn't make him happy, about the empty penthouse and expensive art and view he barely noticed, because what's beauty when you're lonely? She tells him about building her teaching career, about raising Maya alone, about the daily navigation of being black in predominantly white spaces, about the microaggressions and the exhaustion and the constant need to be twice as good to be considered half as worthy, about teaching herself not to need anyone so thoroughly she forgot how to want anyone. Until now, she admits, seeing you again, it reminded me of wanting, of possibility. Is that good or bad? I don't know yet. They make plans, slow plans, coffee next week, maybe dinner the week after, including the girls eventually, building something new from the remains of something old. When they leave the coffee shop, Marcus walks her to her car, stands close, but not too close, respecting boundaries, learning the language of her comfort. Thank you for this chance. I won't waste it. See that you don't. He smiles, starts to leave, turns back. Naomi, can I ask you something? Maybe. Maya's father, is he involved? She knew this question would come, knew she'd have to answer eventually. No. He left when I told him I was pregnant. Different man, different story. Same lesson about trusting the wrong people. I'm sorry. Don't be. Maya is the best thing that ever happened to me. I'd go through it all again for her. She's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. Another pause. The parking lot around them. Other people coming and going. Living their ordinary lives while Naomi stands on the precipice of something that could save her or destroy her all over again. Does she know? About us? She figured it out. She's brilliant, observant, protective. She doesn't like you. She doesn't trust me. There's a difference. Earn her trust. Earn mine. The rest follows. He nods, understanding, accepting the challenge. I will. I promise. Promises. He made them before, broke them before. But maybe this time, maybe. Naomi drives home with something unfamiliar in her chest. Not quite hope, not quite trust, but possibility, the smallest opening, The tiniest chance. She can work with that. Over the next months, Naomi and Marcus rebuild, carefully, slowly, like archaeologists excavating something precious and fragile from layers of sediment and time. Coffee turns into dinner, dinner turns into walks along the waterfront. Walks turn into conversations that last hours, phone calls that stretch past midnight, text messages that make her smile at inappropriate times. They learn each other again, who they've become, what they value, what they want. He's different. She can see it. Not just performing. Actually different. He listens more than he talks. Asks questions instead of assuming answers. Admits when he doesn't know something. Apologizes when he's wrong. Small things. But small things matter. Small things build trust brick by brick. He meets Maya properly, takes her and Ivy to the art museum, watches them geek out over the modern art wing, doesn't try too hard, just shows up, is present. Lets Maya come to him on her terms. After Maya tells Naomi he's okay, for a billionaire. High praise from a 10-year-old who's seen her mother hurt too many times. The girls become inseparable, Ivy and Maya, different ages but same wavelength. Study sessions at the library. Weekend adventures to the science center. Sister energy without biology. Which means Naomi and Marcus spend more time together. Co-parenting adjacent, family dinners, school events, slowly weaving lives together. There are stumbles, moments when his privilege shows. When he tries to fix things with money instead of listening. When he suggests an expensive private school for Maya without asking if Naomi wants that. When he forgets that access isn't the same as belonging. She pulls back, scared, seeing the old patterns, the assumptions, the way money makes him think he can solve everything. They talk through it, he apologizes, actually apologizes, explains he's learning, that old habits die hard, that he needs her to call him out when he screws up because he can't see his own blind spots. She does, calls him out, sets boundaries, teaches him about code switching and emotional labor and what it costs to be the only black woman in every room. He listens, takes notes, does better. Not perfect, but better. And better is enough. Better is progress. Better is proof that people can change if they want to badly enough. 3 months in, Marcus invites Naomi to his penthouse. First time. She's been avoiding it. The visible wealth makes her uncomfortable. Makes her feel small in ways she hates. But he asks, "Please, I want you to see my space." She goes. Walks into the 38th floor apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows and art worth more than her annual income. Tries not to feel inadequate. Tries not to compare her wobbling kitchen table to his custom Italian furniture. "I know it's a lot," Marcus says, watching her carefully. "It's beautiful." "It's empty. Has been for years. Just me and Ivy in too much space." He shows her around, Ivy's room, decorated with her input. Full of art supplies and books and comfortable chaos. The kitchen where he taught himself to cook. His office, surprisingly modest. Functional. A desk. A computer. Books on psychology and business, and a worn copy of her favorite novel that he's kept all these years. "This is where I work. Where I write code. Where I do therapy sessions remotely. It's nice. It's lonely. Was lonely. Is less lonely now. Since you." They stand in his office, alone, close. The city spreading below them like possibility, like promise, like everything they could be if they're brave enough to try. "Can I kiss you?" he asks. Her breath catches. They've been dancing around this for months, holding hands, shoulders touching, sitting too close on purpose, but never crossing this line. Never taking the step. "We've been going slow." "I know. But I've wanted to kiss you for 3 months. Actually, for 12 years. But especially the last 3 months. What if it's weird? What if we've built this up and it's disappointing? Then we laugh and keep trying, or we adjust, or we figure it out. But Naomi, I need to kiss you if you want me to." She does. God help her, she does. "Okay." He steps closer, slowly, giving her time to change her mind, pulls her gently against him, one hand cupping her face, the other on her waist, looking at her like she's precious, like she matters, like she's everything. "I've missed you," he whispers. Then he kisses her. And it's not weird, not disappointing. It's perfect. Like coming home, like remembering, like discovering something new and familiar simultaneously. She kisses him back, hands in his hair. 11 years of wanting poured into contact. Heat and tenderness and relief and joy all mixed together. When they finally separate, both breathing hard, she laughs. Okay, that wasn't disappointing. No, definitely not. He smiles. That smile she fell in love with 12 years ago. Still devastating. Still hers. Good. Because I plan to do that a lot. If you'll let me, I'll consider it. They kiss again. Slower, deeper, relearning each other. Building something new on the foundation of something old. The next few months unfold like permission. Permission to want, to hope, to build. Marcus integrates into her life, meets her mother, who is cautiously approving. He better treat you right this time. He will, mama. He better, or I'll have words. Marcus introduces her to his world. Benefits. Galas. Networking events where she's the only black woman and everyone assumes she's staff, until Marcus introduces her as his partner. She navigates it with grace. With dignity. With the same strength she's always had. But it's exhausting. The constant code switching. The microaggressions. The way people look at them and wonder. He notices. Asks if she wants to leave. Prioritizes her comfort over his obligations. Small things. But small things matter. For Christmas, they do a joint celebration. Both families, Zora and Ivy, Naomi's mother, even Marcus's mother who is stiff but trying. They exchange modest gifts, cook together, laugh. It feels like family. Ivy pulls Naomi aside. Thank you. For what, sweetheart? For giving my dad a chance. For making him happy. He smiles now, real smiles. Because of you. Naomi's heart clenches. You make him happy too. I know, but it's different with you. He's lighter, like he can breathe. I was scared he'd be sad forever after Mom left. He loves you so much. I know. Ivy pauses. And I love you. Is that okay, that I love you? Naomi pulls her close. This brilliant child who brought them together. More than okay. I love you too. At the community center, things shift. Word gets out that Naomi and Marcus are together. Some parents gossip. Some approve. Some are weird about it. The interracial relationship. The class difference. The optics. Naomi doesn't care. Let them talk. She built her credibility. Earned her place. Their opinions don't define her. Director Patterson calls her in. Naomi braces for problems. Instead, Patterson smiles. The board is impressed with your work. We'd like to offer you curriculum director, overseeing art programming across all our locations. $20,000 raise, more autonomy. Naomi stares. I what? You've earned it. Your work speaks for itself. What do you say? Yes, absolutely yes. She calls Marcus from her car, crying happy tears. They offered me curriculum director. That's incredible. Congratulations. I did it without help, without connections, just my work. You've always been brilliant. Now they finally see it. That night they celebrate. Modest dinner, just them and the girls. Toasting with sparkling cider and genuine joy. This is happiness. Simple, real, built from effort and choice and showing up daily. 6 months into their second chance, Marcus asks a question, not the big one, a smaller one but important. Move in with me, you and Maya, not marriage. Just living together, being a family, what do you think? Naomi wants to say yes, but her apartment is hers. She built it, earned it, it's independence. I know, Marcus says, and I respect that. But what if we got a new place together? Not yours, not mine, ours. Something we choose together, build together. She thinks about it, about the symbolism, about partnership versus dependence. Let me think. She talks to Maya. How would you feel about living with Marcus and Ivy? Maya considers. Would we get our own rooms? Of course. And you'd be happy? I think so. But only if you're comfortable. I like him, Mama. I like us all together. It feels right. So they do it. Find a house. Not a penthouse. A real house in a good neighborhood with a yard. 4 bedrooms. Space for everyone. They decorate together, Naomi insisting on equal financial contribution even though Marcus makes more. Partners. Equal. That's the deal. Equal, I promise. They move in together, blend their lives, their daughters, their routines. It's messy sometimes, hard sometimes, but good, really good. 1 year after reconnecting, they stand in their kitchen making dinner together, the girls doing homework at the table, music playing, normal domestic chaos. Perfect, mundane joy. I want to ask you something, Marcus says. Okay. He pulls out a box, small, velvet. Naomi's breath catches. Before you panic, I'm not proposing. Not yet, not until you're ready. He opens the box. A simple ring, beautiful, understated, her style. This is a promise that I'm here, that I'm not leaving, that I choose you every day. Will you wear it? As a symbol, not engagement, just promise. She looks at the ring, at him, at their daughters watching with barely concealed excitement, at the life they've built. Yes. He slides the ring onto her right hand, not the engagement finger, the promise finger. She looks at it. Simple, perfect, real. I love you, he says. I've loved you for 12 years, through absence and silence and mistakes. I love you. I love you too, again, still, different and same. They kiss. The girls cheer. Life continues. Beautiful, messy, real. 3 months later, he proposes properly, on one knee, the girls watching. Naomi's mother crying happy tears in the background. Will you marry me? Build forever with me? Let me show you every day that I've changed, that we're better together, that this time is different. Naomi looks at the man who broke her and rebuilt himself, who showed up daily, who loved her daughters, who earned his place in her life through action, not words. Yes. They marry 6 months later, small ceremony, close friends and family, the girls as bridesmaids. Celebration of love earned, second chances taken, lives rebuilt. Naomi Harris becomes Naomi Harris Chin, hyphenated, both names, both identities, old and new together. She keeps teaching, keeps building her career. Marcus keeps his work but restructures for presence, for family, for what matters. Ivy and Maya become sisters legally. Adoption paperwork signed with joy, 4 people becoming family, not through biology, through choice. Life isn't perfect. They fight sometimes, struggle sometimes, navigate race and class and blended family complications. But they do it together, with honesty, with effort, with love. 2 years after their coffee shop conversation, Naomi stands in their backyard, watching Marcus play with the girls, watching her family, her chosen family, her built family, thinking about the journey, from college dropout to curriculum director, from abandoned girlfriend to beloved wife, from single mother to blended family, from broken to rebuilt, from closed to open, from scared to brave. Marcus catches her watching, smiles, that smile still devastating, still hers, walks over, pulls her close. What are you thinking? That I almost said no, almost chose safe over possible, almost let fear win. I'm glad you didn't. Me too. They stand together, watching their daughters, their life, their second chance made real. This isn't a fairy tale, isn't easy. Redemption is hard work, daily, but it's real, true, earned. Some loves end and stay ended, some loves end and come back different, better, refined by loss and rebuilt by choice. This is that love, the one that survived everything, distance, silence, hurt, time, the one that came back stronger, wiser, real. Naomi learned that forgiveness isn't weakness, that second chances aren't given, they're earned, that love without presence is empty. But love with presence, with action, with daily choice, that's everything. She learned to trust again, to hope again, to believe that not all promises break, that some people really do change, that some loves are worth the risk. Years later, when people ask how they made it work, Naomi says we chose each other every single day. Not because it was easy, because it mattered. Because love isn't a feeling. It's 1,000 small decisions. To show up, to listen, to try, to choose each other again and again. And Marcus adds, she gave me a second chance I didn't deserve. I spend every day trying to deserve it, not perfectly, but honestly. And that's enough. Their daughters, grown and wise, roll their eyes. They're disgustingly in love. It's actually beautiful. Because it is. Disgustingly, beautifully. Imperfectly, truly, love. The kind that survives everything, even itself. The kind worth fighting for, worth risking for, worth rebuilding for. The kind that started in a coffee shop with two young people who didn't know what they had, ended in silence with broken promises, and began again in an art room with recognition and devastation and the courage to try again. This is their story, not perfect but real, not easy but true, not a fairy tale but better. Because fairy tales don't teach you about earning love, about daily choice, about rebuilding trust brick by brick, about showing up when it's hard, about choosing presence over perfection. Real love does. And real love is what they built. From wreckage, from hope, from second chances and daily choices, and the courage to believe that broken things can be mended if you're willing to do the work. Naomi Harris Chen, teacher, mother, wife, woman who survived and thrived and loved and lost and loved again. This is her story, and it's just beginning. If this story touched you, if you've ever needed a second chance or given one, show some love. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late to fight for what matters. Comment your thoughts, your stories, your second chances. And subscribe to Untold Desires by Mr. Lewis for more stories that tell the truth about love, about loss, about finding your way back to yourself and to each other, about the messy, beautiful reality of real relationships, about hope. Because hope isn't weakness, hope is courage. Hope is choosing to believe that tomorrow can be better than yesterday, that people can change, that love can survive, that second chances are real. Thank you for being here, for listening, for believing in love stories that feel real. You are seen, you are valued, your support means everything. This is Naomi and Marcus. This is their second chance. This is proof that some loves are worth waiting for, worth fighting for, worth rebuilding for. And maybe, just maybe, your second chance is waiting too.